I've told y'all before that I work with kids who have taken the STAR test and failed multiple times. Okay. That I have programs set up. Any kid that's gone through my program has never failed. I've never had a kid fail that's gone through my program. Okay. That's taken the STAR test before. Okay. Obviously, in class, I have kids that I teach the same program to a lot more in depth, but they refuse to do anything or they don't show up until the day of the STAR test. I don't know what it is. It's like a moth to a flame. They all show up that day. But those kids will fail. But like I say, kids that have failed before that do this program, they've never failed. Okay. And the first thing I teach them is this right here. Okay. Well, I say this, I'm looking at this right here. That's not it. But the stuff that we're going to be focused in today on the calculator. So what we do today, I'm probably going to be a little bit more annoying than normal in making sure that you're putting this in the calculator. Y'all do a great job of plugging this stuff into the calculator. So for the most part, I don't think I'm talking about you guys, but just in case, you were having a bad day, I am going to be annoying today. Make sure that you're plugging this into the calculator. All right. That being said, this right here has nothing to do with the calculator. So here we are talking about how important this is today with the calculator. And the first few problems have absolutely nothing to do with the calculator. Okay, there it is. All right. So how do I know that this doesn't have anything to do with the calculator? What keywords do they give me here? The y-intercept and slope. All right. So anytime they give me slope and y-intercept, I hope that you are connecting to this poster right here that says y equals mx plus b. Okay, I hope. We've talked about we need this to be easy right here because this should be easy. Now, they try to trick you here. Does anybody know how they try to trick you? It's kind of neat. It's really smart what they do here. They switch these two and they put y-intercept first. So a lot of kids, because they see the -5 first, they want to put the -5 first right there. Is that where -5 goes? No. Okay, remember y equals mx plus b. That this right here is the slope and the m. So I say this right here. The m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. So I want you to focus only on the slope real quick. The slope. That's the only one I want you to care about right now. All right. So slope always goes where? What? X. Which of these puts a -2 in front of X? A does, B doesn't, C doesn't, D puts a +2, but not a -2. What's the answer? A. All because we knew where slope goes. Okay. So we need this to be easy right here. So if you're still at a point where you're like, yeah, I'm still not getting that, don't get me wrong, we're still going to be working at it. But we need you really working hard to learn that slope is next to X and that the number by itself is y-intercept when y is by itself. Okay. All right. Take a look at this one. Once again, focus on slope. Slope is 2. Where does slope go? With the X. Which one puts a +2 with X? C does right here. So the rest of these, B put a -2, A put a 3, D put -3. Okay. So we absolutely need to be solid on slope goes next to X when Y is by itself. Okay. All right. These next two questions, before we get into what we're really getting into today, these two questions really belong about like a week or two from now. Okay. So I'm actually put these in way earlier than what they're supposed to be in. So I'm not going to go into depth on this. I'm going to just talk about one key word. Anytime you see the word per is a key word that tells us about slope. Okay. So when I look at this word problem looks really, really hard. Okay. And, a lot of times we would say guess C, but if you see the word per, so you see the word per right there, then that means 15 goes next to X. It gives away slope. So 15 is my slope. Which of these answers puts 15 where slope's supposed to be? B. 15 was right next to X. Okay. All right, take a look at this one. So this one right here, the key word is per. So 0.75 should go next to x, or in this case, they didn't use x, they used n. That's okay, that's still our x right there. But J did not put 0.75 next to x, okay? All right, so is this $2 right here, is that next to the word per? No, it's also what we call a flat fee. A flat fee means you do it one time. So this right here would not go next to x. So which of these puts 2 down, but not next to an x or an n? G, yeah, puts 2 as a y-intercept, a one-time fee. We will talk a lot more about that 2 weeks from now, okay? Sorry that it got onto this, but you know, it wasn't bad for us to kind of look over that real quick. Still pretty easy. All right. This is what we want to see today. All right. So, in the state of Texas, they consider this right here a level 3 question. What does that mean? Level 1 is easy. Level 2 is medium. Level 3 is hard. Okay. In the state of Texas, this is level 3. This is considered hard. Now, if I was to teach you to work this out on paper, it would take about 1/4 of a sheet of paper to write this out, okay? Now notice this doesn't say to find slope, it says find the equation, but we would have to find slope, so we would have to do our, circle our y's and find slope, which I know is something y'all can do, but then after finding slope, we would have to plug it into this formula right here and get y by itself by doing distributive property and getting y by itself, okay? And it's even worse if there's fractions, because you would have to do it all with fractions. Now, that's why the state of Texas considers this to be a level 3. However, the state of Texas, I don't think, knows what these calculators do, okay? And because of these calculators, at Waco High, we consider these a level 1. This is easy. These are the questions we're looking for on the STAAR test. This is what I teach my kids that have failed 5, 6 times. This is the first thing I teach them, is these questions are easy, and they put a lot of them on the STAAR test because the STAAR test considers it hard. So the STAAR test is like, yeah, we're getting these kids. And we're like, yes, we're getting easy questions, okay? And so it's a win-win for us. So we love these questions right here. Now, I have trained you. Now, we're at the beginning of your training. We're still at the beginning of the year, but I have trained you on some stuff, and we want to see if you can figure out why this is easy. I'm going to see if y'all follow y'all's training. So look at this real quick. And what do you see that we love that would make this maybe be easy, even though you won't know why? What do you see that we love here that we tend to think is easy in this question? Anybody see anything? So my first question is, are your eyes locked up here? If your eyes are locked up here, you're not following test taking training, because as a good test taker, our eyes go where quickly? To your answers. What do we see in the answers that we absolutely love? Y equals. Anytime we see y equals, we know that we can go plug this into our graphs, okay? Now, as of right now, you don't even know what you're looking for, do you? But we see y equals. Now, here's the bad part. How many y equals do you see? 4. We might have to plug this in 4 times. That's the bad part, okay? And I always get kids that are like, oh, this is too much. Now, if y'all want to see too much, we'll work this out by hand. Like I said, you'll have to do quite a bit. It takes about 1/4 of a page of paper. Okay, this is not too much. All right, but we need to be really good at our calculators too. All right, so that's why it's so important that we plug this into our calculator. So even though y'all don't know what you're doing, let's practice our strategy. We're gonna go and plug this into. Whoa, what happened? What? Like a demon took over this. All right. So we're going to go to our calculator, and anytime it's y equals, we always go to graphs. Hey, do me a favor. I need you to see this one thing before you go, okay? Just see this one thing before you go. All right. So we're going to type this in. Now, do we ever put y equals? No, this is y equals right here. Never put y equals. So we're going to type in -7, so -7 x -18, and hit enter. This is what we know to do, Okay, this is what we know to do right here. Okay, then we know we hit menu 5-1. So you still don't know what you're doing. We're just following training. That's all we're doing is following training. When I see y equals, I'm going to type that in. Okay, so I'm going to type that in. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to hit menu 5-1. Okay, now I got to tell you why we're doing it. All right, what we are doing now is menu 5-1 magic fairy dust that gives you the answer? No, this is not magic fairy dust. But this allows me to do some stuff. So let's go back to our problem. So in our problem, what did they give me? They gave me 2 points. Can I check to see if this equation contains these 2 points? Yes. And here's the rule. There are a million equations. There's actually more than a million, but a million's good enough. There are a million equations in the world that contain this point right here. There is one equation in the entire world that contains both of these points. So what you're going to do is check to see if it has these points right here. If it doesn't, it's not my answer. If it does have it, then it is my answer. Okay. All right. You can go ahead and go because you're going to see us practice this a lot. So you can go ahead and go real quick. All right. So I just wanted you to hear what we were doing. We're checking these points right here. All right. So in our calculator, we control the x. So the x right here was -3. That's the x right here. So I want you to type in -3 and hit enter. So -3 and hit enter. Now, this is really, really close. Okay. But that's a +3, not a -3. Does everybody see that? So that is not my answer. But this gives me a trick. So listen to the trick real quick. Okay. Anytime that you type in, okay, your number and you get the number you were looking for, but the wrong sign, okay, take what you just typed in and change both of your signs. So both of these are going to become positive. Yeah, don't, yeah. I'm sorry. I should have probably told them that before. All right. So if I change both of my signs, then it will turn into a +7 and a +18, right? I'm going to go test C real quick and see if it works. Now, watch this. If I have to start all over and go type in a brand new graph, this will take forever, especially when there's fractions. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to hit tab. Everybody hit tab real quick. Hit tab. It's over right above the control. Hit tab. Then go up. Right here is my old equation. Instead of retyping this whole thing, it's a lot easier to delete that and hit a plus, and then just delete that right there, and I've got C now. Does that make sense? Much, much quicker than retyping this whole thing. Hit enter, hit menu 5-1, and it remembered our -3. Was that the point that we were looking for right there? Does that make sense? So when there's fractions, it's especially useful to know. The kids that know how to edit this, they think this is pretty easy and they get through it quickly. The kids who complain that this is too much, they're always going in and starting a brand new graph. And I'm like, yeah, when you do that, it is too much. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this matches right here. Now, does that mean that this is my answer? Okay. So hold on, let me erase this. So this matches -3, -3. Does that mean that that's my answer? No, not yet. Because there's a million equations that contain this point right here. What do I still got to check? I got to check -2 now. So type -2. So type -2, hit enter. Did that one check out? Yes. So if both of those check out, C is my answer. Does that make sense right there? Okay. We good?
And there's your second line. Now menu 5-1, and then put in that -3 and see if you get.
Oh, you've at least come through. Okay, so you're doing so. Okay, so So nothing wrong with this, but let me go ahead and just say this in case anybody else wants to do it. Can you do slope on this? Yes. If you do slope, so you circle your Y's. Don't write this down, but I just want you to see. If you do slope, so if you do this, and then -3 minus -2, and put it in the calculator, you'll get 7. It won't give you the answer, but it will tell you it's got to be one of those. And then you still got to go back in and type this in. So I don't do slope. I just type these in, okay, and start checking the points. But you could do slope. All right. So I want y'all to type in this one right here and see if you can find which of these has these 2 points. Kevin, like I said, you'll have this calculator probably tomorrow, but for right now, if you want to do this, you can do it on Desmos. Just use table, and then under table, you'll type in 2 and you'll type in 1 to check those points. All right, so you're typing in. We're doing the next one now. So if you know, which is awesome, but now you got to check these 2 to see which one it is. So now type in C real quick, or I'm assuming you haven't checked C. Yes. 2x plus 6 or minus 6. Hit menu 5-1. And then you're typing in the x. So just make sure you're typing in the x there. So that did not match. That's not your answer. Now, I know you could say, well, by default, it's the other one, but please go test it. So hit tab, go up, because it go up. Okay, now edit that right there. I want you to notice something. So when you type this in, you're going to get the wrong answer, and this is why you test. So type that in, hit menu 5-1, hit enter. Okay, all right, menu 5-1. You got the wrong answer. Do you want to know why? Because you actually typed this in the first time. You didn't type this in. You thought you typed this in, but you actually typed that in. Okay. So now you're sitting here going, wait a second. I thought, so go type that one in again and check it. So hit tab. Yep. Go up. And then change that to a plus. So just change that to a plus 6. Hit enter. Menu 5-1. Okay. And then nothing showed up. Just type your number. What was your number? 2? And then it shows up 2 matches, but always check the second one too. 1, tap 1. There you go. Do you see why we always check that last one? Don't just assume that that's the answer. How are we doing over here? Good? Very nice. We get it? Very good. How are we doing over here? You get it? Very good. All right. So hopefully you're looking at this and going saying, yeah, this isn't bad. This is why we teach this to our kids that are having to retake the test, because this is something we teach it to them first because they need a lot of practice on it. So that's why we teach it first, is so that we can keep practicing it. But this right here is not bad at all. So Kevin, if you did this, then it was C. Okay. All right. So let's go take a look at this one. All right. On this one, it's the same thing, except they give you a table. Now, a table is nothing but points. So it's the same thing we just did, but instead of putting points in parentheses, they put the points in a table. Okay. Now, what you have to remember here is that we're checking the X's. Okay. We're checking the X's. Now, you at least need to check 2 X's. However, at the same time, it doesn't take much time to plug those in as well, just to be careful. Totally up to you though, okay? But minimum, you got to check at least 2. Because remember, there's a million lines that contain 1 point, but only 1 line that contains 2. And then, like I said, it never hurts to kind of just check them all, but totally up to you. All right, so we're going to go type in A. Oh, let me back up for a second. One more time. Was it the table that told me to go to the calculator? No. What told me to go to the calculator? I kind of do this naturally, so I forget. I got to remind you guys. I looked where? At my answers. It's my answers that have the y equals. That's what's telling me, oh, hey, this can probably go in the calculator right there, especially if there's points. Okay. Anytime we see points in a table or points that are just out, we're typing this in. All right, so let's go type that in real quick. So we're gonna go open up a brand new graph, and we're typing in, I think it was x minus 5. So x minus 5, hit enter. All right, we're gonna hit menu 5.1. Okay, this is not magic pixie dust, so that's not an answer. What is my x right here? What am I typing in? -1. So we're gonna type in -1 and hit enter, and that does not match. So this is not my answer. Mark off A. If I were you, get in the habit of marking off answers. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to type in B. What's the difference between A and B? Just that negative sign up front, right? So all we have to do is go put a negative sign up front, and we've got B. So we're going to hit tab, go up, and go put a minus sign right there. Now, what I just did, if you're not understanding how we do that, please let us know, because this is what makes this not too much. If you're retyping this every time, I understand why you would think this would be too much. Okay. All right. So yeah, exactly. All right. So we hit enter, menu 5.1. And was that it right there? -1, -4. It's close. Okay. So I've got a little trick now. If I get the correct number, but the opposite sign, y'all remember what I can do? So I need +4, but I got -4 right here. I can switch both of my signs. Okay. If you ever get the correct number, but the wrong sign, switch both of them. So I'm going to make a plus and a plus. Well, that's actually C, isn't it? So that was what we were going to type in for C anyway. So let's type in C real quick. So tab, go up. I'm going to switch this to a plus and just delete the negative. All right, we're going to go menu 5.1. All right, is that correct right there? 1 and 4. Okay, yes, that's correct. What is the second X we're going to type in? -3, and see if we get +2. So -3, I did get +2. Now, at that point, you know it's the answer. It doesn't hurt to just quickly type in -5. We got 0. That's right. Type in -7. So it never hurts to check them all, because once you've got the correct one, typing in 2 more numbers is nothing. Okay. They put negative, they saw -4 and said, oh, it's a 4 right there. Okay. So be careful. All right. Now, so let's talk about that here for a second. We talked about that if you work this out by hand, you have to do slope. Okay. Then you have to do all this right here, right? There's a lot of spots to make a mistake. Does that mean that the calculator is perfect? Well, the calculator is perfect. The issue is if you plug in stuff wrong or if you look at it wrong. We're the ones that aren't perfect, right? And so make sure that you are plugging stuff in correctly. Make sure that you're reading stuff correctly. Don't rush through that stuff. Be very particular. All right, I want y'all to plug in this one right here. Now, on this one, especially because it's fractions, I highly, highly recommend that you're hitting tab and editing as you go along. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do this one. Have you already done it? Okay, yeah. So let's do that one right there. So type in, we got all y equals. So type in A. Remember, to get a fraction, you hit Control Divide, and then make sure you arrow out of the fraction to put your X. If you need help, please let us know. Control Divide. Control Divide. There you go. Okay, good, good. And then Control Divide. There you go. Okay, so we're typing in the X. So the X is what we control. So what's the first X? Very good. Does that match? Now remember, you're typing in the X and then the Y is below it. So does that match 1, 1? There you go. So now we got to type in 2. We can't just do 1. So type in -4. The next X. And that matches. Now, like I said, if you wanted to check them all, you could, but at that point, you know that's your answer right there. Did you get it? Very good. Very good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's
good.
very
He's
good.
good.
Very good. Yep. Yep. All right. So, guys, I mean, I want y'all to think about this. So we already, yeah, I know. First off, you got lucky that it was A because it's not a pain in the butt to do this. It's a pain in the butt to type it in the first time. But then if you had to go here, you would just simply arrow over, change that sign, or add the negatives. Much easier to edit. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Out of that fraction. I thought I had something else. I forgot what it was. No. Something else I was going to say. I was going to point out something, but lost the train of thought. A butterfly flew past me. All right. So for those of us at home, we typed that in and we should have gotten A. All right. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree. Now, on this one, believe it or not, it's actually a little bit easier on this one because on this one right here, now I say it's easier. It's easier if you understand where slope's located. So if you understand where slope's located, then this is easier. Now I will tell you. Oh, he's cheating for you right there. Where's slope located? Next to what? It is M. It's next to what letter? X. Yes. So immediately you could look at this, and if it doesn't have -4/3, mark it off. It's got to be next to X. So this has -4/3, but that does not. It's a +4/3. So mark that off. This is a +4/3. Mark that off, but that one is negative. So when they give you the slope, Chambers is coming. So when there's slope, we actually like it if you know where slope's located. Now, if you don't know where slope's located, which I have a lot of seniors that do this that don't know where slope's located, then at least check that point right there. Is it going to guarantee you the answer? No. Okay. But if you know where slope's at, matter of fact, I got a question. Even if you didn't know what slope was, could you just look and figure out that they're talking about that number right there? Does that make sense? If you're a good test taker and you're looking at your answers and you're like, wait a second, they have -4/3 right there, and see what I'm saying? So be a good test taker here. All right. So that would have been funny. You'll never take me alive. All right. So now we're just going to test these two. So type this in and we're checking -A4. Now, this time there's only 1 point because we've already done the slope. Okay. So you just got to check that 1 point right there. So, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this with you guys because I want Kevin to be able to see this. All right. And make sure you're always starting a brand new graph on new equations. -8, I believe. All right, so we're typing in control divide -4/3. Make sure you get out of the fraction to put the X, otherwise you'll get something weird. And then it was it -20/3? Is that right? -20/3. So I don't know which one I'm doing, but one of them was minus and one's plus. So I'm gonna hit enter. That is the first one. All right, and then our number, it is, okay, good. Our number was -8. So we're gonna type in -8. Oh, is that what y'all got too? The first one? Okay. So that matched right there. So it looks like A is our answer. Man, y'all are lucky today.
So the graph is so big, his isn't, standard, his, graph is not on standard. So it didn't show the line at all.
So if your graph is not on standard, then you might have not opened up a brand new one. You might have used, like, did you go and delete? Or did you hit tab and put in one? Or you actually went and opened up a brand new one? That's weird. That should open up.
But I mean, menu 5.1 worked.
Yeah. Once you hit menu 5.1, yeah. So yeah, if you ever don't see a line, hit menu 5.1. I did check. Yeah, but I don't ever teach them. No, it's not even 10 by 10. Standard is like, it goes 10 by 10 this way, but then it goes like 7 or something like that. All right. So right here, I want to see if y'all can do this one right here. Do the next one. Look at slope first. They give you slope. You should be able to eliminate 2. See if you can eliminate 2 of these, because they give you slope. So when they give you slope, eliminate the 2 slopes. Very good. Very nice. Did you hit menu 5.1? Okay, so type in your number. What number are you looking for? Did you already check it? Okay. Now, did you get it? Okay, good. All right. So I want to make sure you understand something. I know that one of the things that I will preach when, especially not on this right here, is always look at all your answers. Okay. Always test all your answers. However, on this right here, when you prove the slope and you prove the point, that's the only equation in the world that can have that slope and that point. You do not have to test them all unless you just really want to, which is fine. Okay. I just want to make sure y'all understand. Okay. All right. So was it A again or what was it? Good night. I don't know who made this, but they did a terrible job making. Oh, wait, that was me, wasn't it? Okay. Find all the questions where the answer is A. All right. So right here is not going to be calculated. This right here is not going to be calculated. And I want to see if anybody can figure something out real quick. So I want you to take a close look at this real quick. Okay. Take a really close look. What do you see that is special here? There's something special. A 0 slope. Now, yesterday, you had this brilliant teacher. I can't remember who it was, but there was a brilliant teacher in class that taught anytime you have special slopes like 0 or undefined, that there is an acronym with 3 letters. And that one of those teachers might be staring at it right now. What are the 3 letters that we used yesterday that talked about the 0 slope? Y'all remember it yesterday?
Like bucks or something?
Oh, thank you, Kevin. Kevin answered it. All right, so it's Hoy and Bucks. Kevin in class, like we were like pointing at it, nobody would say it. All right, so Hoy and Bucks is to connect you with anything special. Okay, so if it's 0, the 0 goes with the Hoy. That's 0 right there. Now, why do we want to connect it with this right here? Because what does Y mean right here? It means it's a Y equals equation, but it only has Y in it. It's not allowed to have any other letter. So which 2 can I get rid of because it's got an X in it? Very good, D and B. There's no possible way. It can only contain a Y. Now, he's going to point back up to that Y equals equation and keep following it. And it says the Y coordinate. What's the Y coordinate right here? What's the only one that has the +6? A, no calculator right there. No math, no calculator. Just simply Hoy and Bucks helps us on that. Okay? Okay. All right, so now on this one right here, we have another special one. What is it? So what does this connect to? What 3 letters? Bucks. Now, this one's even easier because what does the equation mean on this right here? What's that x mean? X equals, that's your equation. The x and the y are always your equation. What's your answer here? It's only one, isn't it? The only one that has an x is D. Okay. Now, first off, there's a couple of things I want to point out to you. Could you have typed these in and matched that point? Yes, you could have. You still could have typed this in and matched the point. Okay. Now, knowing the slope was 0, it couldn't have been these two because it didn't have a 0 right there. It had something else. So you knew it had to be these two. And you could type it in and match that point. Over here, you could have typed in the 3 that had y equals, but could you have typed in the answer? No. So if you ever get a question like this and you don't remember Hoy and Bucks, yes, you still could have typed that in. Okay. But if those didn't work, then you would know it was D by default. You cannot type in D to the calculator. You can't type in X equals into the calculator. Okay. All right. Let's clear that. Hopefully, though, you're going to remember Hoy and Bucks and make those really easy for us. All right. So right here, we do see y equals here. We love these y equals, but look back up here. I have another equation with x and y. Are we allowed to do anything with that? Nope, until we do what? Yeah, y by itself. So on this one, we can't type these into the calculator. We got to actually work this out right here. So we got to go and write this down. So write this down right here. Yep. So this becomes way more important in this unit. You see this a lot more. All right. So what's the first step? And I'll remind you of this poster right here. What's the first step? Oh, you're right. My bad. Okay. First step is draw the line. All right. Now, what's the first step to work it out? Very good. Subtract the x. So anytime that we see x and y together, we minus or subtract the x. So we put minus 2x and minus 2x. Okay, so these cancel out. Now, the number one mistake is forgetting the sign. So it's not just 3, it's negative 3. So negative 3y is equal to, do you ever combine these right here? No, never, ever, ever combine these. We do like to put the x up front though. So minus 2x, then that's a positive 2. All right, so now the next step is to divide everything by negative 3. Now, instead of rewriting this, I got answers right here. Negatives make a what? So which of these has a positive 2 over 3? Not A, not C. All right, right here has 1 negative. 1 negative makes the whole thing negative, right? Which of these has a minus? D has to be my answer right there. All right, write this one down right here. So this right here is Coach Shaver's favorite problem right here. Coach Shavers loves this. Now, I have never talked about this, but I got a poster right here. Everybody, I want y'all to at least see this poster right here. Okay, when it looks like this, where it's got +4 and it's got parentheses, we're going to do the distributive property first. The distributive property. Oh, I guess I should draw my line or Shavels will get mad at me.
You know it's important.
All right, so when we distribute, what do the mountaintops mean? Mountaintops mean to multiply. So that's why we call them mountaintops. Mountaintops mean to multiply. Now, when it's a number and a letter, you just squish them together. And then when it's a number and a number, we multiply. Negative 3 times 1 would be negative 3. That's our first step, is mountaintop. Not so bad.
Yeah. Now, what do you, if I want y by itself, what do I need to get rid of? On this side.
Yeah, you said it, 4.
Yeah, so how do I get rid of positive 4? What's the opposite of positive 4? Negative.
Minus 4, yeah. So the opposite of plus would be minus.
Where's the 4 go over here? Does it go under the x or under the 3? which are the same, apples to apples, which are the same.
Very good. So that part right there might be a little bit more difficult. So that gives us y equals negative 3x. And then when I do negative 3 minus 4, that would give me negative 7. So which one has that answer? D. All right, make sure your name's on these.